I'm the boss here. You talk to me.
You know, I'd rather go work for the Joker, man. I mean, he's crazy, but at least I know who I'm talking to.
Yes, exactly. You know what you're going to get with the Joker.
Yeah, it's not as confusing as it is with this character right here. Double Toasted live show in Brooklyn, New York. That's going to be April 1st. All right, folks. So, as you all know, I don't have to tell you, creepy killer dolls are becoming a popular thing again these days.
Yep.
You know, Chucky got a series out there. Mm-hmm. You know, Megan's a hit. Look at her. Yeah, get it, girl, get it. Yeah, Megan dancing her ass off, popping and locking and flopping all over the place. Get it, girl, get it. Yeah. Megan's a hit right now. You know what? I'll even throw Annabelle's little lazy ass up in there.
Does nothing but makes money.
That's you know what? That's the best way to do it. Sit on your ass and make money. She don't do a goddamn thing.
Nope.
Just sit there and don't even look pretty.
No, not at all. No. She's successful.
And that's actually her brand new.
Yeah, I know.
Ugly ass dolls.
I know.
She get a new movie.
I don't know how, but she making that money.
She getting paid.
Because everybody loves the creepy dolls out there. So for our very first cartoon retro review here, on our new show, whatever the name will be at some point, D-Tunes. I thought that we'd start out with a sort of creepy doll themed episode from a classic retro animated show and one of my favorites out there, one of your favorites too, one of your favorites out there, whether you know it or not, Batman, the animated series. Well, I always loved him posing up there, man. Yeah. Looking like, I done good, Daddy.
Do you ever think that, you know, he's like, okay, that's pretty cool, but like the first time it happened, he went, Jesus!
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
No, I'm fine. One day would see me.
That's him looking to the heavens. Yeah. Papa, did I do fine?
I did good, right?
I did good, Papa.
Right, Mom?
I mean, cause ain't nobody looking at him, ain't nobody seeing him.
He's doing that for himself.
He's just doing that for him. You know, he's got a heart on right now.
I'm the goddamn Batman.
Respect me, love me. This is this episode. There's an episode called "Read My Lips," and I chose this because if anybody who's seen this episode, then you know that this is about what I consider to be one of the most underused villains in Batman's rogue gallery, and that is, well, I guess you can count them as two. The ventriloquist and Scarface. Right. Scarface being the ventriloquist dummy that the ventriloquist uses. You know, there are so many things to talk about with this villain here, especially for a kid's show, what is considered to be a kid's show.
Yeah, they were pushing the boundaries of what they could do for children's animation.
No, they were. They were.
Times.
But it's I love this character. It's a very complex character. The villain is so weird that even his henchmen are confused half the time.
They are.
Batman, we're talking real trouble. What are we gonna... Hey, who you talking to, creep? I'm the boss here. You talk to me.
You know, I'd rather go work for the Joker, man. I mean, he's crazy, but at least I know who I'm talking to.
Yes, exactly. You know what you're going to get with the Joker.
Yeah, it's not as confusing as it is with this character right here. And this is one of my favorite episodes. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember a lot of episodes. It's been so long since I've seen this show.
It's 30 years old.
It's 30 years old. I was just beginning college. I might have been graduating high school, but I think I was just beginning college when this show came out.
Sure.
And
early 90s.
And I just remember when this show came out, everyone, I was working at I was in college because when it came out, I was working at the school newspaper, and everyone in the school newspaper was like, look, I know it's on WB Kids, but God damn, this show is excellent.
Yeah. Well, it changed. The thing is, like a lot of superhero content, like in the 80s and the 70s, even before then, it was like Super Friends. It was stuff that was really kiddie. Mostly was humorous. Like Batman and Robin were team up with Scooby-Doo. Now he's dealing with, you know, killers and people who are suffering from mental illness.
Yep.
And especially like this, you know, with you know the character of the ventriloquist, who is his name is I'm trying to think of his real
You're trying to say the
Name.
ventriloquist's real name?
Yeah, his real
I
name.
couldn't
But,
tell you.
Yeah, Wesker. And he has a dissociative disorder, and where he has this trauma, and he's put it into this fictional reality he's created with himself through this puppet.
Yeah.
Arnold Wesker is his real name.
To be fair, though, Chris, if I recall, I don't think his name was Wesker when this episode came out. He was just the ventriloquist at this time because he was such a new character. They didn't even have a name for him ready yet.
Really? This episode, though, really did stand out to me when it came on. It helps that it's written by a fellow Texan, Joe R. Lansdale.
Right. The novelist.
I had forgotten about that for a long time. I remembered recently leading up to this, but when I saw his name in the credits, I was like, yeah, that guy, because that guy. There is his name right there. Teleplay by Joe R. Lansdale. Joe R. Lansdale, he lives in Nacogdoches or something here in Texas. Always going through Austin. Some of our friends know him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of books that are signed by him that people got an autograph for me for. Because if you don't know Joe R. Lansdale writes crazy shit. Okay, weird stuff. Like some of his most normal things even kind of out there. And they've been turned into TV shows and movies. Sure. Like there's these series of books based on these two characters called Hap and Leonard. Hap is just a redneck badass, but he ain't racist or anything. Hence he's not racist or homophobic. Hence his gay black Vietnam vet friend.
Oh, that's funny.
Who can beat the shit out of everybody too.
Nice.
Yeah, that's I forgot his name, man, who played Leonard right there from The Wire.
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams, yeah. It was actually a pretty good show, man, when it came out. I don't know what happened to it, but I saw a couple episodes and really enjoyed it. Got a few books signed from him, but his books get a lot crazier. In fact, there's another movie out there that's based on one of his craziest stories, Bubba Hotep.
Right.
You remember it's about an old ass Elvis played by Bruce Campbell, who's joined up with an old black guy who thinks that he's JFK, and they team up to fight a mummy that's taken over their nursing home.
All right, man, let's go.
Apparently all the dialogue is just screaming in this movie and grunting. So who better to write an episode of Batman and with one of his weirdest characters than this guy, Joe R. Lansdale, to write about the Scarface and ventriloquist. I haven't watched Batman animated series in years, and it's not because I don't want to. I actually love the show. It's just we watch so much stuff today. Right. I don't have time to go and revisit some of the things that I love. So, it's one of the reasons I like this episode is because it's one of the more classic gangster episodes. No big supervillains with superpowers or anything like that. It's very old-fashioned gangster for a lot of reasons. Now, one of the things this show is known for is for its art direction, its look, and really the way Gotham is a character, because Gotham's always a character in these things, but we've seen so many different versions of Gotham. Gotham's been a goddamn overblown amusement park stage show before. I don't even have to tell y'all what that is.
It's an ice skate rink.
Yeah, that's the Ice Capade show at Six Flags or something, man.
Yeah.
That's Batman and Robin with Mr. Freeze. Yes. Be cool.
Yeah.
Gotham has been a futuristic dystopian shithole.
Why do you work alone, Batman? I believe you enjoy the loneliness.
And that's from Arkham City. And then, we've seen like very realistic portrayals of Gotham, especially with The Dark Knight. Which is just pretty much Chicago if you look at that. That city.
Batman the real world.
Batman the real world. But what I loved about this Gotham is that it was, you can use the word Art Deco, but it was also very it captured that classic 30s gangster era of Chicago.
Sure. with its sensibilities. I mean, with everything from its technology. I mean, the TVs are all in black and white.
Yeah.
The cars are old timey. It's that's what makes I think the series timeless, is because of its aesthetic.
VHS.
I know.
You remember that cutting edge technology right there?
It was, man. And it was expensive too.
Yeah. Batman had one of the first VHS players, man. One of the first video cassette recorders, man.
That's right.
Yeah, the Batcave was the first one to have a video cassette recorder.
It's not on the market yet, Alfred.
They are doing things that no one would think of doing for a kids show.
Oh yeah,
and which they weren't doing a kids show.
No.
I mean, I like the way it opens up, because the show opens up with the old time looking boxing match.
Yeah.
With some old era looking boxes. You know, there's these big old slabs of meat with crooked noses and
busted up faces.
Messed up. Messed up faces, man. Cauliflower ears and everything. Just opens up with them just beating the shit out of each other. Except for that little rabbit punch right there. That little rabbit punch.
He had enough. He was taking it easy on him right there.
Stop it. I love that. That dude punched the shit out of him. He just came back with... Stop it, you. I'll give you a pinch. Get out of here.
The guy's severely concussed, man. He doesn't know what he's hitting at that point.
What I really love about this is that you got, for the time, modern technology, but then they just have some of these things that just, I love the look of it, but it's just dumb. The street lights, like, it's not enough for people to have the colors. I mean, that's as simple as you get. They got to have signs that come out to tell them to stop and go.
Oh, yeah,
like,
man. Yeah,
like, how dumb are people in Gotham?
Very dumb. They live in Gotham City. Of course they're stupid.
I'm like, they have to actually spell it out for you to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go now. I love that, man. But then they have the old gangster era feel of things going on in the underbelly of the city.
Very much so.
Yeah, like cops always being on the take.
Right.
Not a bad night's take.
Now get out of here. Yeah, that's the whole arena is owned by gangsters, man.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of cool, because even though we get like a lot of the fantastical supervillains like the ventriloquist and Scarface and Joker and everything, this is like one of the first series that in terms of Batman being animated, where he was fighting gangsters. He was fighting mob bosses like Rupert Thorne. Who was like these kind of like tertiary characters in the comics. I was like, oh wow, you really lean into those sensibilities. And that was cool.
Yeah, that's they're kind of getting back into that today, like with the last Batman movie. Like he's fighting
Carmine Falcone.
And everything, and we're not just going through the super villains rogue galleries, but the movies, that's what they were all about. Sell toys. The bigger the better. It's great for special effects. It's great for the big screen. Batman the animated series, there were times when they would slow down and they would actually go and fight gangsters, man.
Definitely a lot.
And I thought that was really cool. I mean, it has a little bit of everything, but outside of the big supervillains, it still has your classic Batman moments. Yeah, Batman just being an asshole.
Always.
Man, you could have said hi or hey, excuse me. Or something.
Commissioner Gordon's like, how long have we been doing this together? You always do this to me. Stop it. I'm 75 years old.
He's going to kill this man one day.
I have a heart attack.
You see him, he's like,
the man, he's a smoker. He has high blood pressure. I mean, don't scare him.
Yeah, he's out there fighting clowns and shit. Come on, man. Also like that this episode, it did a clever homage to the 60s Batman without having to be too campy. Now, this is kind of cool. It's an Easter egg, and no kids got it unless they watched the 60s Batman back when they were kids. And back in the day, they probably did because they were my age. But did you know anything about the 60s Batman when this came out?
I think at that point, yeah, I might have seen some episodes, or I was aware of it.
Okay, so well, you know what?
On TV Land, I think I watched episodes
that's
of TV
right.
Land. Yeah.
Well, everybody knows the bat twirl. You know that. Yeah. Everybody knows that right there.
Yeah.
But I think, now I might be reading into this too deep, but this episode did a kind of a deep dive homage to that 60s Batman by kind of doing the same thing, but not just stopping the show to like say, hey, remember that? They worked it into the story.
Right.
Like when all these, we'll tell you about the story in a little bit, but part of the story is that there's heists going on and the newspapers are reporting about it. Mm-hmm. So in 30s or 40s style kind of filmmaking, they have the newspapers come up to the screen, which keeps in tone with the, or keeps with the feeling of the tone of the show. But it's also, I'm gonna play it for you one more time so you can hear it. So you heard that. This is how they do the newspapers reporting on all these crime sprees going on. I like the way that people are looking at nothing but rectangles. Yeah. There's no words.
Well, we live in a society where people only read the headlines. They don't read the actual articles or anything.
Like people need to recognize that there's no words there. They don't get any further than the headlines.
Nope, that's it. Some of the headline.
I also love that this is one of the few episodes, man, where, because Batman was known for scaring the supervillains. Batman ain't shit. I wish he would say something to me. But, he was always sometimes even a monster for the regular the thugs and the regular gangsters out there. But this is one of the few episodes where you see one of the gangsters who's huge. He's not a super
Rhino.
The Rhino, yeah. You're like, ain't nobody scared of you, bitch.
Don't get wise with me. I might not like you. I ain't scared of you.
Of course, he gets his ass beat after that.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sorry, he beats his own ass.
He does. Batman's like, I just jumped over him.
I didn't go punch him.
I didn't do anything. You can't convict me. I didn't do anything.
He's like, this stupid whatever. Dumbass. Who are you?
Yeah, you hurt yourself.
So we get into the story here, man. I mean, but I'm talking about the things that I love with this because this is the episode that I chose. Mm-hmm. I'll be passing this off to people when they choose their episodes and whatnot, and we talk about this. But I mean, please, by all means,
one of the things that I like so much about this episode, but really just the entirety of the animated series, is that Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and all these guys, all these writers and creators, they leaned into Batman being a detective.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just him punching, his various villains in the face and going from action scene to action scene. He has to figure out, okay, who is this person? Why are they doing these things? What's compelling them to do them? What do they suffer from that's making them do this? And then where are they? So I can track them down, and then I have to figure out how to defeat all these people and then arrest this guy and get this man help. And they did all that in 22 minutes, where it's so funny to think about it. You think of so many other Batman movies, they're not even capable of doing that. And so that just shows you the skill and craftsmanship that was on display throughout at this point, hundreds of episodes within the DCAU.
Yeah, you brought up something earlier, man. Let me see here. You brought up a good point with something earlier. Because even when I was a kid, I grew up with the very, very, the shows that very much leaned on the superhero aspect of these characters. If you're my age, or maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, you remember growing up with the very cartoony and the very super heroic versions of Batman and the rest of the gang known as the Super Friends.
Assemble the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Yeah, they did just superhero stuff. Yeah. Batman, who's known as the world's greatest detective, they never showed him doing detective stuff.
Nothing.
I mean, unless he did some stupid thing like he pull out shark repellent spray or some shit like that.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, this person left this mound of evidence right here. They must be at the museum. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very broad. It was very big. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I thought that was an excellent point that you brought up. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you never saw him being, a detective like you did later on. And this show was one of the first shows to really do that. I mean, this show got so much about Batman right. And that's how the story starts out. The story, when they get into it, when you really get into it, it deals with Batman investigating the heists that are hitting all these arenas and all these places where there's a lot of money being exchanged.
These venues, basically.
Yeah, these venues everywhere. Only thing about it, I say they show detective work, but they, it ain't that deep in this series. He finds, he finds somebody, in all these shows, especially back in the 90s, how did they find somebody, video, they enhance, yeah. We can't have modern street lights in here, but we can enhance.
That's a trope, yeah.
Yeah, and they're always enhancing, like, wait a minute, stop, is that a tattoo?
A tattoo?
Alfred's like, bitch, I know what it is. I've seen a tattoo.
Alfred's old. He doesn't know. His eyes are just like half closed at this point.
Are you sure that's not a birthmark, sir?
Alfred's like, you can do this with a VHS player? My God, this technology's brilliant.
Of course, that tattoo leads to the hideout where Batman has yet to meet the gang's mysterious leader.
I gotta see the boss.
He said he's not to be disturbed.
Hey, man, it's important.
He's supposed to beat his head. Hey, look, I ain't gonna ask you again.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm talking about how this is very gangster-like, but he got very modern in. Yeah. Hey, man, I ain't gonna ask your ass no more.
Hey, man, it's important. Batman's on our case.
I see. I'll see what I can do.
Now, this is what I love the most in this episode. This had me laughing so hard. I remember laughing about this back in the day. When Batman finally does see who the leader is.
This better be good news, Muggs.
God damn! He's like, even the great Batman is creeped out by ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah,
I've never seen Batman have that look on his face with anybody.
He's like, who?
He's like, what the
a puppet? Oh. All right.
I was expecting a guy with 6 arms to come down, but a dummy?
Okay.
And he's so weirded out, like anybody would be, but he's so weirded out by that doll that dog got his ass twice.
Yeah. He had to make sure. It's like, I think it's the guy, but let me just check.
He thought that was his ass.
Yeah. He caught him slipping.
Yeah, he thought that dummy was about to kill his ass.
Takes a lot to scare Batman, too.
It does. Batman has fought villains 10 feet tall.
Yeah, monsters. Psychopaths.
Yeah, but that damn dog had his ass shook, man.
It's something new. He never encountered that before.
The reason I love Scarface so much, this character, is because of the ventriloquist. Mm-hmm. And the dummy's cool, but the ventriloquist, and what's his name?
Arnold
Wesker, man. Yeah. I think he's one of Batman's most compelling villains and saddest.
He is very sad. Yeah.
Sally, the thing is he's dangerous. Yes, he's very dangerous. Mm-hmm. He's sick, but he's not evil.
No.
He's just very ill. Mm-hmm. And his case is so severe and it's so bizarre that even Batman's like, no, this is too crazy. He's like, no, I'm not buying this bullshit.
He doesn't tell me anything. I swear I'm just a flunky. I know nothing.
You can think I'm dumb. Just don't talk to me like I'm dumb.
Yeah, you jacking him up, but you weren't so tough on that dumb. It was got the drop on your ass. Oh shit! Hey, don't tell him I'm here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scarface. I'm sorry. I'll let you sleep. My apologies.
When we're talking about the detective thing, he went and figured out what was going on with him. And I have something to ask you about this, both of you, if you want to, jump in on this, because they do address that this man has an illness, a mental illness, and Batman has to go back and look it up. And keep in mind, like today, even kids probably know what this is. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, a lot of people didn't know what the term was for this or how it applied. They just used the same thing, schizophrenia, you know. Oh, yeah. I thought that it was cool that back in the 90s, they went as far as to say, and this is because of the writer, Joe R. Lansdale, that, they went in and diagnosed exactly what it was, which was not a very popular term back then.
It's called multiple personality syndrome disorder, Alfred. 2 personalities in one brain, completely separate.
It's so, and I love this, it's so bad that it even fooled the Bat computer.
Say, who dresses you anyway?
I'd swear it was 2 separate people.
You're not alone. Even the computer is fooled.
He's like, and I paid $1 billion for this.
Yeah, you know how expensive this VHS player is, Alfred? Very.
What if it's full because it's just meant to play tapes?
It doesn't know.
It's just meant to play movies. Yeah. So I paid $1 million for this thing.
It's useless.
Today, I wonder how this would be treated because Batman does figure out how to defeat him.
Yeah.
When I studied with Zatara the magician, he taught me about ventriloquism and voice throwing.
Because of course you would study with magicians. He's done everything.
Yeah. Escape artist.
Like he's went to clown school and everything.
Yeah. Study the Joker.
Yeah.
To defeat him, I must become him, Alfred.
Of course you study with a magician. He uses his voice throwing ability, Batman does, to turn, because Scarface is very paranoid, the dummy, that other personality. He's like, one of you mugs out here is trying to double cross me. A lot of old gangster talk here, by the way.
Yeah, that lingo.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty bad until I realized, well, he's playing a character.
That's what it is. Yeah, he's literally like Al Capone, Scarface.
Yeah. One of you mugs is giving me the double cross. You know, he's always saying that. So Batman's like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna pick on this poor guy that's merely the ventriloquist. I'm just gonna blame him and have his own dummy turn against him.
He's been feeding me information in return for legal protection.
You're going up the river, Sawdust, for brains? Why, I oughta...
Dummy's about to beat his ass. And see, that's what made me feel so sorry for this character, man.
Yeah.
The ventriloquist is why I find this character so deep, man. He's so... You know, he really has no control over what he's doing.
His compulsion, he can't help himself.
Over his mental condition, to the point, when I say he's dangerous, he's dangerous to himself.
It wasn't me. I didn't say that. My lips didn't move. So what? You're a ventriloquist.
I thought that was one of the best lines in the movie or in the show. I thought that was a great line. But yeah, he's so out there that he's about to actually do harm to himself.
Waste the four-flusher.
But boss, we ventilate the ventriloquist. You're
surrounded by traitors.
It must be so confusing to work for this dude, man.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh God, they're overwhelmed.
I would never do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go work for the Joker.
Yeah.
Joker won't even do something like that.
Yeah. The Joker, either you do what I say or I'll kill you. It's that simple.
That's like, okay.
These guys like, I don't know what to do with this dude.
Should I kill him or should I not?
But it got to the point where the guy was going, if the other guys couldn't do it, this guy Wesker he's going to kill himself.
You want something done right? Do it yourself. Spare me, Scarface, please.
I mean, I'm laughing, but it's so sad. Now, my question to y'all is, this was considered, anybody who watched the show back in the day, they knew it was up, man. They said, this show is this is really meant for adults, or if you really want to go, get technical, it's like families, but not meant for kids.
No, not for little kids.
Not for little kids.
Not people that were watching Super Friends and Scooby-Doo teaming up with Batman and Robin.
No. Yeah. No, this was
different.
This was. They had some very well written episodes in this. So anybody who watched this, they knew how deep this could get at times. And Batman dealt with a lot of mentally ill people, but they were like monsters and supervillains that turn into creatures and wore crazy costumes. This guy, except for his ventriloquist dummy, he's pretty human.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes.
So, given how sensitive we are today to mental illness, do you think that this could work today?
I feel like yes, it could. Maybe
Or would they do it?
They would do it, and I think they would go deeper with it. It's funny because later on in the series, they do explore Scarface and the ventriloquist more. Like he appears because this was at the tail end of the first season, and then he gets another standalone episode along with Catwoman. In the third season, which is when they did the new animation style, it's where the ventriloquist is actually seeking psychiatric help, and he's cured. And then other people try to exploit him with a new Scarface, trying to basically reform his game.
I remember.
And Batman tries to protect him. And by the end of that episode, he's free. And he's living a much better life than he ever had. I really like that they had this arc for this character. It's not seen this episode, but it happens later on.
So it leads to a positive.
It does, yeah.
And
He's
there's
cured.
hope for the people with mental illness.
Yeah, if you seek help.
Now, I remember because that they had an episode where the dummy kept popping up and somebody just kept putting it around. Right?
That's what it is. That's the episode. Yeah, when he's trying to not indulge in that behavior again.
Yeah,
but people are exploiting him.
This episode right here really showed me, and this is why I wanted. This was why when we start to do this, it popped up in my head to do this particular episode because this I just remember this being like really great writing, man, and I just remember thinking like, man, why don't they use this character more? I wish there was a movie, and this is the reason why they won't do it. They'll do it for a show, or maybe they'll do it for a movie if they can team them up with somebody, and there's still the risk of being goofy. But I always said, man, I would have loved to have seen what Christopher Nolan would do with a more realistic villain like this.
Sure. It would have been better than bang.
Yeah. Oh, the people.
Yeah, that would have been better. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, that's one I would have got into. But it's a great episode, man, and I love it. Now listen, there are some things that I don't like about it, and some of those things are just the usual Batman tropes.
Sure. The products of their time.
Yeah, man. Listen,
dated aspects.
They always, what's that?
Dated aspects too.
The series. What dated aspects did you see of this then?
I think there's some of the dialogue that is maybe goofy, or it's simplified. Because we got to keep the story going. We only 22 minutes,
and we got to keep it to a certain audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Because remember all these gangsters, and they got a text like, "Oh heck!"
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you got people like Joe Piscopo. It's like sounding like this.
Joe Piscopo, was he doing voices?
He voices Muggsy.
Oh, nice.
I can see that now.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they have these usual Batman tropes. They always capture Batman, and they always capture him, and they always tie his ass up and put him over a pit of pointy things.
One bullet through that rope and your history. Get my point?
Okay. I understand if you gotta hang him up to question him, but no one ever pulls the mask off.
Nah. They don't care who's under the mask.
I would. It's like the first thing I would do. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Man, listen, his villains are all about theatrics. They're like, if we pull off the mask, then it's over.
These villains are stupid, man.
Yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them are their own worst
one
enemy.
dude, like, who the f- is this guy, man? Also, of course, when Batman captures, like with any of the villains, captures Scarface or the ventriloquist, he puts him in Arkham.
Yes.
And when they go to Arkham, of course, Arkham has the worst supervision in the world.
I know.
That's very good work. Thank you.
Yeah, he like, you don't know, I'm coming back. You know this man's crazy.
Yeah, why you let him into carpentry?
In the carpentry, yeah. This dude did villainy with wood.
Yes.
That was his weapon.
Yes. It's Arkham Asylum, man. They're terrible.
They took the dude who weaponized wood and put him in wood shop.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow.
See the harm in it.
Yeah. And then turn away. They're not even looking at it. Give him sharp objects and just walk away.
Yeah, that guy's like, very good. You didn't look at what he was making at all. You just said that like, all right, very good. And just move on to the next guy.
And let him have a knife unsupervised.
That's the other thing about it too. That doesn't make any sense. That's a very good point.
I mean, the dude is lucky he was able to walk away. Didn't get stabbed in the jugular.
There were some things that they were shocked they even got away with, like past the censors. Like one thing that they wanted in the episode, because they wanted to show Scarface, quote unquote, die. Like that scene when he's all shut up. That was like big. That was very controversial. They originally didn't want to do that, or the Warner Bros. Didn't want them to do that. They thought, can you just turn away when he gets shot? But they kept that in there, and you just see, and again, it just shows you just what a sorry person the ventriloquist is when he just breaks down when Scarface dies. Even after like Scarface threatened him so much and wanted to kill him, after all that, it's like this great moment where he's basically blubbering.
Yeah, man,
it really shows how sad he is as a person.
He's losing it, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I love that shot.
I love that. I love that. Again, how sad he is, because I mean, he was just about to use that thing to kill him.
Yep.
And then he's just what you say, just blubbering.
Yeah, he's blubbering.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do without that, man.
Oh no! Oh shit!
Damn! And he's like, He's like, man, I was done.
Battery in the face.
You see when Batman creeped up behind that one, like, yeah, I got this bitch. He did that just because he was just tired of it.
He was sick of it.
Yeah.
Shoot at me.
Ah, man, I feel. I mean, like you hardly ever feel bad for a villain like that. But like I said, he's sick, man.
He is.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's one of the ones that's redeemed later on in the series.
Yeah. Now, if anybody deserved it,
He
was
finds
him.
peace.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta rewatch that, man.
Yeah.
Wish we had time to go.
All the
through 2
episodes are great. Yeah, because when Catwoman's like, I don't have any time to tolerate you. she gets so annoyed with him. She's like, I'm teaming up with a puppet. I'm a dummy. And the other villains are kind of weirded out by him. They're like, oh, Jesus.
I love that. I love that, man.
Like the Joker's like, okay. All right, moving on. Yeah.
Again, this dude wears out Batman.
He does.
He wears out the Joker. So I mean, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And he's the least evil out of all of them, I think. Man, that's a great episode, though.
It is.
Great episode, and it's worth revisiting, especially today with all these, these creepy doll and dummy things coming up.
It remains popular.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it works for it within Batman animated series and other pieces of content, other media.
Yep.
Whether it be movies or TV shows or cartoons.
Yep. So go watch it, y'all. I mean, go and revisit the whole series, man.
Yeah.
It's a classic for a reason. But if there's any episode to start out with, it's that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's and funny thing about this, watching this has made me want to go watch a bunch of other episodes now.
Yeah, man. Whenever you want to talk about them, I'm game.
Yeah.
So many great episodes.
Well,
I mean, we can eventually theme them for different things that are coming out. This year.
We'll have a chance to talk about some more. Maybe one day down the line you bring up your favorite episode.
Oh, jeez.
I know you got so many.
I do.
Choose one.
Only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other thing about this episode is, man, they used their jazz soundtrack in this episode.
They
great.
should do.
It really went well with the whole gangster feel of this.
No,
Agreed.
Yeah, early on in the episode, man, when they're doing a bunch of the setup for the heist and everything. Yeah, the music is great. Let me see if I can find a section where they are actually doing it.
Shirley Walker. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's an excellent point, man.
Yeah.
Great
I mean,
point.
they
right
even
there.
had a jazzy version of the Batman theme song in this too when he was fighting some of the gangsters right at the final scene.
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
Oh, I missed that.
I didn't catch that either.
Shirley Walker did the theme and a lot of the music for the animated series. She passed away recently, actually.
Really?
And I don't know if she did the music for this particular episode. I wouldn't be surprised though.
I think she did. I saw
Yes.
it. I saw
she
the
did.
name.
So there you go.
Yeah,
there you
she
go.
did.
It's her. Yeah, she was wonderfully talented.
Well, there you go, folks. That's our discussion of Batman, the animated series, the episode called Read My Lips, to coincide again with all these wonderful, creepy doll and puppet and dummy properties that are coming out. So hope you enjoyed it. And this is our first episode of whatever cartoon retro review thing that we're doing here. We'll think of a name at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, something a little jazzy, snappier.
DT2.
DT2, baby. Yeah.
What do you want to call it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.